Hello everyone, and welcome to another one of our videos. Please take a deep breath, relax, and enjoy.
Most people dream of dating a supermodel, but what are the downsides to dating someone who is very attractive? I'm in the process of dating one. She's not a supermodel per se, but she's really attractive and could become one. I would say the main downside, as many have said before, is that every single guy wants to get inside our pants, even my close friends. She knows a lot of good-looking guys with charming personalities who also work in entertainment, so competition is tough. Also, her social life is far busier than mine. She gets invited almost every day to some event or party. Actually, I wouldn't mind any of that, if there's ever a relationship between us, as long as she's faithful or respects our established rules. My girlfriend is really good-looking, and it's certainly helped me learn to not be jealous. We are both pretty quiet, so we don't go out enough for her to get hit on too often in those sorts of situations. We are at a school known for being pretty socially awkward, but at the occasional party we go to, there are always guys who remember her from class who come say hi. Usually, it's people who she's spoken to once or sat next to before, not just randos, but they all give her the eye. She's a female engineer, so she's pretty much the most attractive person in her department. The desperate guys are never really an issue or anything, but they are also always crestfallen when I introduce myself. I'm pretty big and outclass most of the guys in the engineering school. I've been doing this for almost 3 years now. My girlfriend is unbelievably hot with a beautiful face and a super tight body. On top of that, she's incredibly smart and driven. One of our passions is motorcycling. We're both in pretty deep, avidly collecting a stable of bikes for different types of riding. Everything from touring to ice racing. We attend AMA and ARMA races, photograph them and the riders, and report on them. It's a male-dominated sport where the men are extremely aggressive and sometimes skeevy. When they see a hot girl on a sport bike or a vintage Honda, it's like a mosquito to that blue light. There is no shortage of men offering favors and just waiting for us to break up. Anytime we are rolling around and we meet someone, they're in no way interested in talking to me, but they love chatting her up. It's annoying, but hey, I'm a guy and I know how this works. I trust her to never hurt me. She is my best friend. But oftentimes I still wish she would tell the creepers to F off. We oftentimes can't even have a simple date without some guy intruding out of nowhere. I am dating a ridiculously attractive girl at the moment. When we go to the gym, it's like every guy knows her. Guys hit on her right in front of me. It gets kind of annoying, but at the same time I'm not too attached to her, so it's kind of fun too. Because you know they're thinking, damn, that guy is a baller. You can see the jealousy in their eyes. I've never dated someone who was super attractive, but I have interacted with super attractive people, and I have to say that they don't seem to invest in being interesting. They expect to be entertained, but they don't bring anything to the table. It's not that they are inherently uninteresting, but I have to actively extract the interesting parts of them. I have to labor at finding them interesting. There's a kind of laziness that comes with being attractive, I suppose. You get used to people working hard to be around you. I can't say I blame them. If I were good looking, I'd ride it for all it was worth. The caveat with all of this is, of course, being unattractive myself. Maybe they simply don't invest in being interesting to me. After all, who cares what an unattractive person thinks of you? My girlfriend is what Asians call a minor celebrity. A lot of people know about her, but not enough for her to be famous or anything. Downsides: she knows a lot of people. A lot. We have to say hi to so many people when we enter a venue on a night out, like a club. Guys are constantly checking her out. That's not as bad as guys constantly creeping or hitting on her. That's annoying. Usually it doesn't happen if they know about me, and it's getting to be common knowledge that I'm her boyfriend now, so this happens less, but still, it happens. She gets special treatment that doesn't always extend to me. For example, she'll get invited into tables and get free bottles at clubs. A lot of the time I'm invited too, because I know some of the guys now and I'm charming enough that they've taken a liking to me. But some of the time I'm not invited, and then I have to let her go be social for a bit. She gets used to special treatment. I really don't blame her or think this is wrong. It's normal for attractive, famous, successful or whatever people to get used to a higher standard of life. It's not wrong, but it's still a bit stressful on me. I've never had to work so hard for a girl before. Also, this does lead to some brat behavior on occasion, but overall she's a great girl and is more mature than any other I've dated. She's leagues ahead of me in social or soft skills. She's had to teach me a lot of etiquette and stuff for when we're going out, and the people she knows thought I was really bad at this at first. Then they were surprised by my age and gave me a pass. Hard to explain this one. It's mostly stuff like giving respects and giving face, but also includes other etiquette. She knows more about cool places because she's been taken to way more than me. Restaurants, date places, etc. It's a bit funny to take her out on a date and she's been everywhere. And most of the time she decides where to go because she has more experience. Sucks because it feels less like I'm taking her out. All things aside, I've never been happier with anyone. These are just little things I notice. I've always dated very attractive women, but one girl I dated was ridiculously attractive, so my sample size is small. There were only two things that really surprised me. When you are with them, it is like you entered into a whole new world that takes adjustment to get used to. I remember one day walking through the mall with her for the first time. It was like people's brains shut off and they would stop and stare. They would turn around to keep staring when we would walk by. Men, women, young, old, and even couples would do it in tandem. A lot of guys you're friends with will be irrationally jealous. You might have to lose a few friends. I don't consider myself as bad looking, but my partner is definitely way better looking than me. We have been together for 10 years. She was always pretty, but after she had our son she lost a bit of weight and ended up looking gorgeous. Thus, in turn, I've had to deal with guys hitting on her on a regular basis. Since we are parents we don't go out much, but she still gets hit on via social media. Facebook friends who happen to remember her after a long time. Guys from work who text her to see what she is doing, etc. The worst part is that my partner is incredibly easygoing. She is one of those people you instantly like just by talking with them for a bit. This leads to guys pursuing because of how she looks and also how she is. So she has to find ways of fending off guys that are infatuated with her without hurting their feelings. For most of them the usual "I'm in a relationship" works. But some of them can't care less. Even after she explicitly says that she is loyal to me and is not interested in anything else. There have been guys that go as far as telling her to leave me and go with them so that she doesn't have to work ever again and stuff like that. Thankfully she is the most loyal and loving person in the world, and anytime it happens she lets me know immediately. This has helped a lot because I never distrust her. She has my full confidence and I don't feel that much jealousy. If you thought ordinary girls had severe insecurity problems after watching supermodels pose in magazines, you know nothing yet. Models are so much worse. I'm not trying to write off all models. To make it as a model and not go crazy as a woman, I really think you need to be super smart. And I mean really intelligent. Models are pretty much a lot of the nightmarish things about women, like the insecurities, the jealousy, multiplied by a million. If you like a model, then date her. Everyone will certainly look at you differently. The guys will think you're a stud. And the women will think you're a stud. So I guess they'll look at you the same way. Just because a million models were a certain way doesn't mean all of them are like that. There are always individuals that are deviant from the norm. But since the industry itself is about beauty of women, and youth is a huge part of the industry as well, which is ridiculous sometimes, it plays against the model's insecurities more than other girls looking at magazines. Why? The girls who read magazines and feel insecure read magazines in their spare time. It's not based around their life. For models, it is based around their life. Feeling insecure for them means more than regular women, as it might mean the end of your career. It's ironic because it's these very models who make every other woman feel insecure in the first place. I dated a model for a brief amount of time and here are my thoughts, though keep in mind this is just my experience. She always looked beautiful. She spent hours every goddamn day choosing outfits, doing her hair and makeup, etc. It became kind of annoying, because if I just wanted to go to the store, I'd have to dress up just to buy some damn groceries. I don't mean like a suit and tie, but a button-down shirt, nice pants, make sure I shower, etc. Sometimes it's just nice to throw on some sweatpants and get the groceries, you know? Like, does everything have to be an event? Guys were constantly hitting on her. She was usually pretty cool about it and would say I'm with someone or she'd introduce me, but I wished people would just leave us alone. There was always at least one Johnny douche who would ask, "Why are you with this loser?" I got sick of having to prove my masculinity. Got very tiring. She was approached by a few guys claiming to be talent agents, offering her work. Some even flat out asked her to do adult productions in front of me, which she obviously turned down. At first, Dating her was kind of surreal, like I was exposed to this new world that only beautiful people lived in. Not everything is candy canes and sugar plums, though. She got sick of constantly being approached, to the point where she would offend some people. I now understand why some really beautiful women come across as Karens. I mean, I approached her solely because I thought she was beautiful and I just kept trying until I got a date out of her. There's a hefty amount of jealousy that occurs in this type of relationship. My friends would constantly comment on how hot she was, and when they got hammered drunk, they'd talk about wanting to do the deed with her, and some even went so far as to text her or try to hit on her when I was in the toilet. When it came down to brass tacks, it just wasn't worth the hassle. I mean, she was great and we are still best friends 10 years later. I just couldn't handle all the BS. She has since quit modeling and toned down her need to be 10 out of 10 all the time, which is nice. Even worse, through the last 10 years, every single time I date a girl and they find out I dated her, instant jealousy. Why are you with me when she's so beautiful? I bet the fun was so good with her. Am I as good as she is in bed? I go out of my way to not let girls I date know that I dated her, but somehow they find out. Also, for anyone asking why we don't get back together since we have maintained a great friendship and she quit modeling, people change, man. We don't have the same goals, financially, family-wise, lifestyles, so a romantic relationship just isn't in the cards.
Congratulations, you've made it to the end. We want to thank you again for giving us a few minutes of your time, and we wish you have a great rest of your day, night, or whenever you're watching this. If you enjoyed the video, please make sure to subscribe, it really does help us a lot. That's it from me, roll the outro.